Okay, hi, this is Maddie Roller. This is Module 7, the Human Resource Frame. So Bowman and Deal's Human Resource Frame talks about how the resource frame is an organization like a family. Everyone involved in the Human Resource Frame, they have to work together and get along like family would. So everyone in this, they have certain skills that they can share and attitudes, and they work together and they're communicating for a common goal. And the task that they were talking about was, so if it's a school, the common goal is going to be the success of the students. So everyone involved somehow supports that. Some of the parts of the human resource frame include the goal, strategic planning to make sure that everyone is working how they're supposed to, communication among all members. So there's going to be a lot of different stakeholders in the human resource frame, and everyone's going to be coming together to support the common goal and the main plan. The leader in the human resource frame is not an advocate like they would be in the political frame, or an architect like they would in the structural frame, but more of a servant and a catalyst to make sure that everything is going smoothly and everyone has their role and they're kind of following through to the end. There are four main key points of the human resource frame. Mainly, it's meant to serve people. So you could see that in a lot of different scenarios, either in a school, possibly a church organization, and people in the organization, they need to work together. It's going to benefit the people and the organization if it's a good fit. If it's not, then it's going to fall apart. They both need to support each other. With that, if it's not a good fit, then they're both going to, like I said, they're going to fall apart. But if it is a good fit, the people are going to get more out of it, and the organization as a whole is going to get more out of it. And they're all going to reach the end goal, which is kind of the whole point. Okay, so when I looked at the different list of stakeholders, this is how I organized mine into different categories. First, I had the principal at top because they're the leader of the school and they are a model for a flowing organization. They're really going to be the head of it. The second category I had was students and alumni. So this is going to keep the rest of the stakeholders, keep their focus right on top, and make sure that we're focusing on the student success, both in school and then when they do leave school. So whether that's they're going on to junior high or they're going on to college after high school, we need to make sure that these students are still successful, not just they finished the year, we're done. So keeping them at the second tier, that's going to keep all the other stakeholders focused on them. That's the next highest that we need to focus on. The third category, I put parents, paras, and teachers, because these are going to be directly supporting the student success. I've worked with paras a lot. I think they're incredibly beneficial. Parents and teachers communication, obviously there needs to be a lot of that. The school that I worked in for the past 3 years, unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of parent involvement, but the studies are there that show that having parent involvement, there are a lot of benefits. And there are ways to get parents involved. What I did that last year was we actually offered pizza and childcare to have more parents come to our meetings, and it worked. If you bring food, they'll come. But I think grouping parents, teachers, and paras together, since they are directly involved in their students' education and the success of their students, it makes sense to have them grouped together, and they're right underneath the students. Next, I put the office staff and community members in one group because they are directly affecting their student success. I'm sorry, indirectly. I said that wrong. So I put these two together because community members can be a lot of different categories. So when I think of community members, I think of our SRO officer, I think of the library, maybe the doctor's office, a lot of different community members. And then our staff, our office staff, and that's going to be your secretary, maybe your speech language pathologist. Again, a lot of other members, depending on how diverse your school is, what members you have there, what roles they take on. But those people aren't going to be leading lessons or necessarily going to IEP meetings, but what they do is still going to influence their students' education. So they are indirectly involved. Like our SRO officer, and he would come to our building every day, and he would share any reports that we need to be aware of. He would be in communication with our school counselor and some of our other stakeholders, like the classroom teacher, and he's very important. He's not going to be directly involved in the student's education, but that's definitely a piece that we need to be aware of. Number 5, I put the custodians and the maintenance people together. I think this is really important because they're making sure that everything is in working order so the students are less distracted and have a better chance to focus and pay attention in class and really get the most out of their lesson. And that's truly one of the most important things, I think. I remember when I was in 7th grade, there was a light that was flickering and it hadn't been changed, and I could not focus because it kept bothering me and giving me migraines, and it actually got really bad. But having good custodians and maintenance staff in there to make sure that everything is in working order, if there's a chair that's broken, they can go out and fix it so that the students can get in and get the most out of their lesson, not be distracted. That's hugely important. And the last one that I put on the bottom tier were the cooks, because they're going to be the ones that make sure that their students' most basic needs are being met, that they get breakfast in the morning when they come to school, that they get lunch. And if there are students who can't do that, then they're letting the rest of us know if there are students who can't pay or whatever the situation may be at that school. But there's so many students who come to school and they can't afford lunch, so maybe they have free and reduced. But being able to get a meal is above anything else, because if students aren't eating, they're not going to be able to learn. So that needs to be first, and then it always goes back to the students up top. And then the principal is going to be the head, and he's kind of modeling everything and making sure that it runs smoothly. So that's kind of how I organize that. So thank you.